Welcome back, guys. Table elevator is rebuilt. Bars are being finished today at the machine shop. Should be able to bolt those in. I got the wheel back on. I'm out here by myself. My son's in school. And moment of truth. I'm gonna turn this thing around and see if we know what we're doing. So hopefully we ain't lost prime. It's been a week or two since we started it. Hopefully the clutch works good. This is the stuff that makes you nervous. Don't have my platform on yet, so that first step is a doozy. Well, I forgot to have you guys recording, but she fired right up. See if we can put it in gear. Second gear, reverse gear, third gear, no grinding, and first gear. Let's go into reverse and see if she backs up. Oh, we have movement. Uh-oh. Looks like we've got us a fuel issue yet. Okay, guys. We're moving under our own power. Going out. Turn this girl around so we don't have to walk as far. Plus, we want to see how the clutch is doing. So far, I'm by myself today. Everything's working out. I don't know why we lost prime again. I got to check all the fittings. When I had my other 540, it used to do that after setting. I finally had the pump taken off and gone through, and then that stopped that. So I might change the lift pump of the motor. Going around. All the gears shift wonderfully. I think the transmission brake is in perfect. There's no grinding. I think the transmission brake is in good shape. Go to second gear. It's up and running. So we're going to back her back in. Uh-oh. Yep, lost prime again. All right, guys. Got her turned around, but lost prime again. Ran for quite a while. I'm wondering if it ain't the lift pump. I will check all the fittings on my hoses, make sure they're tight. We pump it up by hand till it gets hard, bleed the injectors, and then she fires again, but then she draws air somewhere. I'm suspecting a lift pump issue. The other issue could be I put that strainer, which it had a strainer to begin with, in the sediment bowl. Maybe it can't get enough volume pumped through there. I don't know. Kind of wondering what's going on. I got an expert to call that's helped me in the past, get his ideas. And it's got 6 inches of fuel in the tank, so I don't think that would be an issue. So that's what you get with a startup, but the clutch and everything works great and the gears don't grind. So I think we're done there. Got to check the final drive on this side. Got to go through this mechanism right here, clean and get adjusted. Check the fans and check the sieves, and we're in business. So I am going to pull the radiator and change the radiator fluid. And that way I can get and weld up that bracket, check the fan bearings, and change all the belts on the motor because it just needs to be done. We're draining the oil right now. I would have liked to have got it hotter, but it is what it is. So, nice black old oil. I don't know how old that is, but we're going to put some fresh Rotella T 1540 diesel oil in there. And I do have a little bit of an exhaust issue right there. We're going to figure out what's going on there. So, anyway, that's what we've got. I got to tighten this back here, the plug, change the filter, and the oil change should then be done. I am going to get rid of this filter now. It's a Fram filter, PH977A. I've got a Massey filter to put on it that I had in stock. So, that's what I'm going to do right now. Got some old jeans laying in there. I don't like oil getting all over everything. So, anyway, let you know when I got that all done. Well, guys, I got the oil filter off. It is a Fram WearGuard PH977A, if you need one. But when I finally was able to get it off and read it, 10th month, 18th day of 13, and we're in 2025. So, needless to say, hopefully they didn't use it much. She's been neglected. We're going back with a power part, 1447048M1. It's one I had in stock here. It's in good shape. It's not contaminated with dirt. It was sealed in plastic till I just opened it. And I think we should be good. Got her paint marked at 9/18/25. So, time to fill her up with some oil. We have it filled with oil. It took 2.5 gallons. And it's a little bit over. And of course, when we spin it over and fill the filter, we should be spot on. And this job is now complete. And we'll go into draining the radiator. Well, one of the reasons that it could be dying, however, I don't think so. I think we had some biofuel. I got to check the pump return line, my man said. But engines have got to breathe. And yes, I maybe should have done this stuff first. But oh my goodness, look at that stuff. And look at this filter. You would think some people would do some maintenance. Look at the date, January of 81. Is this the original filter? That is the question. All right, Napa's running out a filter for us. And I've got the antifreeze draining. So that's good. We'll catch that. We might as well get started on this big heavy beast. Okay, I took my paint marker and I got my marks here and here, and I did the same down here because I will be taking that off to inspect everything. This one came off. Now I think to put it back on, I'm going to remove this pipe up here. This one, big pulley is off, very heavy. We put a pallet up under here. I've got this one loose. Okay guys, we're back in deep again on this side, which is good because we needed to take this all apart. We've got this all apart. We got bearings coming for that. And these sprockets are wore, every one I have. The combine in a box, this one that came off, no longer available. Parts Depot don't have it available. I've called Sprockets. They're gonna check tomorrow to see if it's available. If not, I've got 4 of them, I believe. We'll be getting double 60 roller chain 19-tooth sprockets and having the centers cut out and cut out these splined hubs and having a machine shop put them together. Well guys, I've got this whole corner tore down. Took out the radiator because I'm going to change all those belts, and we got to weld that bracket. And I really didn't want to do it by the radiator because just my luck, a spark would go in and burn through a tube. And I want to get it right so that it holds. I don't believe it's out of balance or anything. I just think it's poor factory welding. So I've got the radiator out and I'm getting ready to take it to the radiator shop. I don't know if you can see, there's sediment in there. The oil hasn't been changed since 2013. I don't know when the antifreeze would have been changed. Here it is over here. Now this bucket wasn't clean to begin with. Okay guys, I got the starter disconnected and I am protecting the end of the wires there. I want to clean behind it. Obviously the pressure washer didn't. I don't think this combine has ever been cleaned. So it's, the starter was clicking sometimes and engaging. We did a lot of cranking on the priming part of things. So I wanted to get that checked out. The connection areas, the bolts and stuff were pretty corroded, and it's just going to let me down when I want to be doing combining. Got the fan off, you can see a lot. This here is packed full of bean pummy. I think this bearing could be out. We'll have to check on that. These belts, my goodness, they're about shot. Are shot. So glad we're changing those. This is interesting. I'm glad I took this off. Looks like we have a little crack there and here. So, and then there, that's what I was just going to weld, but I think this is going to require some investigation. Looks like the fan could be out of balance. We were at the maximum of our puller's pull, and this had the fan's pulley that goes down to the jack shaft here and then down to the fan, and this is behind it going this way, and you can see they're severely canted, so they were shot. We got a new one of these coming from the dealer, and we're here. We'll check the bearing and all should be good. We'll clean up now and we'll be ready. What we're doing is getting everything ready for when all the new parts arrive. We can just start putting it together. So we'll spend today and tomorrow prepping. Another glorious day of cleaning. We got all this cleaned and degreased, and I find it very interesting, which maybe they only did corn and beans, but this was never adjusted. Drips from the factory, the belt run there, and overspray from the factory, the belt running there. So the speed on this has not been adjusted hardly at all. So either they just did corn and never did beans, or wheat. I don't think they did wheat at all, because that would have been ran out to that far. So observations of a machine telling a story. All right, I am out here on a Sunday afternoon. My son has been taking this apart. I'm pretty proud of him. He got the radiator out, fan bracket, everything disassembled, so we're one step closer to getting that engine out, which will be for sale. We're a big step actually closer to getting that, but I'm just proud of him. 14 years old, he's able to take on a project. He also retrieved the air cleaner for us, because we had a plastic one and it's busted, the pre-cleaner. We got the radiator out. He's got all the parts out here. The shade tree is perfect, so I guess we're shade tree mechanics. And just can't say enough. Very proud of him. And when my other one gets old enough, I'm going to have quite a team. So anyway, let me go report on the fan bracket to you. This is one that's original to my combine, and when it would spin, had a little bit of a lope to it. Now this one does not have a lope. Looks like it spins true, so I am going to take this hub. But puzzling, this must be a weakness. This one was breaking out here and was heavily shimmed here, heavily shim stock, and broke out right there. So this is also a different color paint. I'm wondering if they replaced it at one time and had trouble getting it realigned so that the fan ran true in the shroud. So I don't really want to mess with that. I think that could really be a challenge. And I have mine still together. So I'm going to get the non-loping pulley, and I'm going to weld this one up because it's still all in the correct place and it's not heavily shimmed. So that's what I'm opting to do. I don't want to change any of that trajectory. So there will be a welding project coming along with this. I've been cleaning these, getting them re-lubed. This all slides back and forth real good now. Whenever you're doing this, you want to mark your edges so you can put it back together the same way. There's also an O-ring in here that keeps grease. You don't want to turn that O-ring out. I don't know if you can see it right there, but these O-rings are in good shape. And I'm just cleaning it so that it goes together. As I've said earlier, this was never adjusted all the way out. We're going to grind this out here, make a trench, re-weld this, buff it back down. We're going to work on this weld here. It's cracked. And along here, we're going to reinforce this. So here we go, getting things started on a Monday morning. Have this gouged out and followed the crack there. We're ready to weld. So I'll get it welded up now. All right, we're all welded up. I've expanded this outward, which should make putting a belt in there a lot easier. Don't know why they didn't do that at the factory. And the other side is all done. The other side is all done. I didn't want to go all the way around there because I think you need to leave that alone. It's welded all the way around on the other side, or else it'll probably just break out around there. That's all been reinforced and gouged out. And now it's all buffed down, ready to go back against the radiator hose. We'll give it some quick paint and be on our way. We have the fan hub off of the parts machine, and that one over there has a little bit of a lope to it when it spins without even any blades on it. So I think it might have been machined a fraction of off center. I don't know. But I'm going to use this one. It appeared to turn straight. And our bearings are a 6205 RS flat outer race, and the inner one is a 6204 RS. You have to pop the seals out of the back. Massey number for the big one is X22256 M1 maybe. I had that on the shelf, so that's a win. It's in really good shape. And then I had this one already too, and I don't have a Massey number for it because I picked it up at a bearing store, so I already had this one in stock. We're going to pack these full of grease. Then we're going to put the first one down in there. Then this sleeve goes in, that's your back for them, and that keeps them separated. And then this one gets pressed in, and there's a snap ring that goes in here. But this has to be packed full of grease once you have that in there. That gets totally packed full of grease because there's no way to grease this once you have it installed on the machine. The belt goes in there nicely, and it can come right out nicely. Not sitting in there in the cramped quarters, fighting it. Just a little forethought would have went a long way with these sometimes. The first belt I'm going to do is 843045 M1. That's the air conditioner belt. I've went over this before. The one I got from the dealer was very dry. They had had it a long time, so I opted to return it. I went to Napa and I got a 9451 HD, which stood for their heavy duty line. I had never seen that before. And it has this green backing. I almost wonder if it has some Kevlar in it, so I'm excited to get this on there. I will now install it on the air conditioner and be done. It's a high mileage, long life. That's what I want in this combine because you have to take every belt off of the motor to get to this belt. The next belt we're going to tackle is 844171 M1. This is your alternator belt, and it is extremely thin. I think it is a 3V if you look those up, and then you'd have to get the inches from cutting your old one. But we found a new one at a second dealership. It was on back order from Massey. It is very narrow, and I do think there's some automotive belts that would work too, but I have found the Massey one. So now I will get the alternator belt. That would be your next belt. They just keep stacking and coming out. And then we'll be on to the hydraulic belt. I want to give you guys a quick pointer. It happened to me, I wasn't paying attention, but I got the alternator belt on. There's two grooves on your water pump. One is not used for anything, and you need the back one. I had it up here and everything was misaligned. So be careful. We got that nice and tight. Tighten both bolts on your alternator, the one up in the slide bracket and the one down below. So moving right along, we're going to put the hydraulic pump belt on now. That will go here. That is your C55, or I have the Massey one part number coming up. That current part number is 230380V1. In the book, it is the 230380M1. So the only difference is V1 to M1. Okay, I have that belt mounted up. Now there is a lot of bolts here to hold this pump in place. You have not only the one that pulls it back that needs jam nutted, but then you have a small 5/16 bolt that pulls it over to the side. That's a carriage bolt. And then you have the two mounting bolts. So there is 4 bolts that you have to work with, and one is a pullback bolt. So keep that in mind. You want this tight. This is kind of the heart of the whole operation. Our final belt will be the one that comes from the hydraulic pump, which is right there, up to the fan that spins the fan on the radiator. And its part number is 240575M2, or we have a 1616477M1. Yesterday, before we quit, we put the tire back on and we rolled the unit outside and we flushed the engine. We have a guest today. Socrates is supervising. He likes that forklift seat. Good cat. I'm replacing the 2 radiator hoses. Part number is 251582M1, and that's going to be off of the water pump right up here. So replacing those because they're just old and original to the combine. The second one is your 90-degree elbow into the radiator, and its part number is 233835M1. So that takes care of your lower radiator hoses. I am not changing the upper radiator hose because it appears to be in good condition. The horseshoe hose and pipe are installed. So now I am going to work on mounting the fan bracket back in the machine. I'm getting the fan idler together. I took 2 apart, one off the parts combine, one off the machine I'm using. I can't say I remember which one I took off of which, but it doesn't matter. They're both in good shape. They do make it greasable. This is the bearing I got. Part number 399932X1. Now it also has an NTN number. There's a lot of this style of bearing used on the 540. Let me get it here for you. It is a Taiwan NTN. This is what Massey sent me. 6202 LU. 6202 LU. I don't know what they charged me. I just had them get it. But you can get these at bearing places and they're pretty cheap. So going to get that installed, and then we can get the last belt on the motor. I think what I've done, I've decided to keep this sealed, and then you don't have to pop the hood just to grease the machine. So I'll make a note up with the label maker. Bearing is sealed, no need to grease. I've got 2 on hand. We'll see how long it lasts that way. And then you won't be slinging grease up in there around your belts if you over grease it. Have the new bearing installed. I opted to keep the seal intact. I did pump a little grease behind it to fill the cavity, so maybe that won't fill with dirt. That way I don't have to every day open the hood and grease it. So I'm ready to put on my belt. I went over this number before. You can pause it right there. I don't remember which one is one, but this is the belt that goes there. And moving right along. That belt went in there so nice. Didn't have to fight it, squeeze it around through there just because I took out a little bit of steel right there. Now to tighten that, you can get a crowbar right in there, press down on the hydraulic pump, raise it right up. We've got good tension, we have good alignment. The belts are finished on the motor. Thermostat is now installed right up there, backed up with some RTV black on the gasket. I'm working on getting the big pulley back on. Everything's been cleaned and greased. I replaced this sprocket because it had leaning teeth, and its part number is 361389X1. You can see it right there, so that's going to be new. That runs chain all the way down behind here and runs your table elevator. So now we got to get the big pulley on here and in position with it and lined up. So that's our next task. Timothy's going to help me with that, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. It's 10 after 7. We got the big pulley on. All has been cleaned and put in properly. A lot of stuff going on this shaft. I have to torque this down tomorrow, 120 foot-pounds, and then put a jam nut on it. And then we can reinsert the set screw. And I believe we can check this all out and get the air breather back on. That won't be a big issue. And then we'll be right in here getting our casting put back in and that all installed correctly. And then we should be able to put this big belt on and our fan parts, and I then think it'll be time to put the bars in and put the throat on. The radiator, we'll have to report in on that. This here is out of oil, so the seal, I believe, is probably leaking. So we'll be putting a new seal on there, which shouldn't be that hard. I've done that before. And I have new double sprocket chain that we have to install up to the cylinder. So this corner is actually coming right along.